Good morning, 10th graders, and good morning to you, Miss Loftus. I miss you all so much. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that this kind of stinks, and we don't really like it. Teachers don't really like it. I'm sure you're probably bored at home, but the more we stay at home, hopefully the quicker this will end and we'll be able to get back together and see each other again. I have been hanging out at home, and Ms. Loftus, I just want to point out I got a new LaCroix flavor, limoncello. I think you recommended this to me. This is just delicious, so thank you so much for that. All right, we're going to get started. You need to get out of here. We're going to get started with some notes that Ms. Loftus wrote, and I'm going to go over them. You're going to need a paper and a pencil right now if you don't have it. Please make sure you get that out because you're going to want to take some notes while you're doing this. Oh, hi. Paper, pencil, notes, vocab words. And you will have a quiz on this. And so if you take some good notes, you should be fine and you can use your notes on your quiz. All right. So in our quarter 4 here, we are going to be doing some argument writing. I know a lot of you are good at arguing, but we're going to force you to put it into some writing. And to do that, you need some knowledge of some important vocabulary words. So our goal is that I can define and identify the unit vocabulary for this unit. So you need your pencil, as I said, paper, you're going to need your iPad. The question of the day is this: what makes a great argument? Make a list. Here we go. Here's our vocab. The first word is argument. Now, we're talking about an academic argument. We're not talking about an argument you have in the cafeteria with your friend. So an argument expresses an opinion, something that you believe, okay? It demonstrates why that opinion is correct, and it uses some evidence or some specific reasons. And it also acknowledges what the other person might think and refutes that opposing point of view. So you're saying why you're right and why the other person and their belief is wrong. So that first word is argument. Hopefully you've just written it down, or pause the video and write it down. All right, we got a bunch of words here. I think these are review, but let's just kind of go over them. The first is the word claim. When we make a claim, we make an opinion statement that shows a position that is something we can argue. So here's an example. Principal Sadamka should not be transferred to a new school. He deserves to stay at Humboldt. Hey, by the way, check it out. I'm wearing my Principal Sadamka t-shirt today. So this is something that can be argued because the superintendent believes he should be transferred to another school. So our claim is that he should not move. He should stay with us. And we're going to have to give our claim, but we're also going to have to give our reason. Our reason is our statement that supports the claim, what we believe to be true. So for example, he knows and he cares about all of Humboldt's students' emotional and academic success, which is true. Also, that's my opinion. So that's our reason. And the final thing we need to have is, of course, our evidence. We've done evidence before. It's looked like quotes before, but this is factual information used to support a reason, and it helps prove the claim. So example, he's danced on camera and in front of hundreds of students to show how much he cares about them and root for them during testing season. So that's definitely true. Oh, Ms. Loftus, I can't see your video. Sorry. Probably was really cute. All right, so claim, reason, evidence. Pause the video, write them down. Da 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 da. Counterclaim. A counterclaim. A counterclaim addresses the opposite position on the topic. So we have, as a good argument, we have, of course, what we believe, but we also have to look at what does a person with the opposite opinion think or believe. So in this case, our opposition would be the people at the district, the superintendent, the big bosses. So we think Mr. Sadamka should stay. That's our claim. Their claim might sound like this. District leaders may think that transferring Mr. Sadamka will create a positive change at Humboldt because a new leader will do things differently. So that's the way the opposition thinks. And an important thing to remember is that when you are arguing or making an argument, it's always important to be respectful to the other person's opinion, even if you don't agree with it. In this case, I really don't agree with that opinion. However, the other opinion exists and you have to recognize it and be able to do what comes on the next slide, which is called a rebuttal. So the next word you're going to want to write down is rebuttal. Now, a rebuttal is a response that tries to prove that the other side is wrong, and it usually gives some reasons to support it. So your rebuttal is basically us telling the district why they are wrong. So here's the example Ms. Loftus wrote. What they don't realize is that new leadership will negatively change things because this new leader will not have the experience and the knowledge about Humboldt and the Humboldt students like Mr. Sadamka does. So in that case, we have taken the other person's opinion and we've said why it is not right. That's a rebuttal. And we've given evidence to support it. Okay, make sure you have down the word rebuttal. I'm sure that's probably a new word. All right, and then we're going to go to the next slide. All right, we have two words. We've seen them before, but in this case, they're going to be used a little bit differently than you're used to. So we have the word purpose, and we have the word perspective. So first, purpose. The purpose is the reason that the author chose to write. This could be, here's your author's purpose, P-I-E, right? To persuade, to entertain, to inform, or maybe describe. So our purpose in this last example, what we're trying to do is we're trying to persuade. That means we're trying to get other people to listen to our claim and to change their mind. That's our purpose in our argument, is persuasion. The second word we see is perspective. Our perspective is how an author feels about the topic that he or she is writing about. Well, how do we feel? We feel Mr. Sadamka, here he is, should stay at Humboldt, of course. I think most of us believe that. So purpose and perspective. Get them down in your notes. Okay, next up. All right, these three can be a little tricky. So it's a really good idea when you're writing these notes that you may want to draw little pictures. So you see here we've got some hearts, we've got a little light bulb, and then we've got a little balance beam. You might want to include a little visual with these words just so that it helps trigger your memory. So you're going to learn about three things called ethos, pathos, and logos. And we're going to be examining these. These come under the same thing as rhetorical devices. Remember when we were talking about rhetorical devices in quarter 2 at the end, I think? So this falls into that category as well. So we've got ethos, pathos, and logos. So let's take a look. The first one we have is called ethos. Ethos is an appeal to authority and to credibility. So we use this to convince an audience that the author, the speaker, the writer, is credible and that our argument is therefore credible. So for example, this guy down here is a doctor. He says, as a doctor, I can say this product will certainly improve your health. Now we're likely to believe this person because he's a doctor. And a doctor is somebody that we respect, and a doctor is somebody that we believe knows what they're doing. Right? If this guy said, as a cashier at Walmart, I think, then you might not believe him as much. This person is showing their credibility. This is ethos. The next one, oopsies, pathos, an appeal to your emotions, to your feelings. This one you might want to put the heart by. It's used to evoke an emotional response for the audience. So here, take a look at this guy again. Here he says this, if you don't buy this life insurance, you are letting your family down. Oh, well, I better buy that life insurance. I don't want to disappoint my family. Pathos, that is connection. It's appealing to my feelings as a person. So that's that one. And the final one, logos. This is an appeal to logic and to reason. It's used to persuade an audience by a logical thought or fact or just being rational. So here we have, it's a fact that smoking causes cancer. Therefore, if you don't want cancer, you shouldn't smoke. Obviously, that's a reality. So in this case, we're just saying what's logical. Of course, don't smoke unless you want cancer. This is an appeal to what we call our logic and reasoning, so logos. So ethos, pathos, and logos. Those are those three important words. You're going to have a lot more practice with those. This is just an introduction. All right, now we have valid reasoning. Valid reasoning. It's reasoning that's based in logic. It uses facts, statistics, or personal experience to support their claim. So here is the example. Becky tells her teacher that she's allergic to pollen. Every time she's outside for recess, her allergies act up, and therefore the playground must have a high pollen count. So by the way, allergies, of course, is hachoo, hachoo, hachoo when you're allergic to what's outside and you're sneezing and coughing. So this is valid because we see Becky has allergies, Becky goes outside, Becky starts sneezing. So we know that the playground must have a lot of pollen out there. This is a valid logical sequence, so it's true. Now we have something called fallacious reasoning. Now fallacious reasoning kind of tricks us a little bit. So here's an example. It's reasoning that does provide necessary support to back up the given claims. I think that's supposed to say does not provide the necessary support. It says, dinosaurs didn't read. Now they are extinct. Are we saying that because dinosaurs didn't read that they're now extinct? Obviously, those things cannot go together. Then we have something called a logical fallacy. Parts of an argument that intentionally or on purpose mislead us to persuade them. It's a bad argument. It's a way to trick people. So here's an example. It's kind of hard to see, but it says, penguins are black and white. Some old TV shows are black and white. Therefore, some penguins are old TV shows. No, right? That can't be true. This is what we call a logical fallacy. All right, here's the end. Your assignment. You're going to find the argument unit vocabulary quiz in the week 1 folder, and then you're going to complete and submit the quiz by Friday at almost midnight, okay? That's when it's going to be due. So study those words. I hope you took some notes. Go back, listen to me talk again if you want, or don't listen to me talk if you don't want. I'm not offended. But go ahead and submit that, and then you will get a grade from Ms. Loftus and I by the end of the week. That'll do it for now. All right, good luck, everybody. Cheers.